Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good afternoon to all the viewers. I am Dadia. One of the interesting developments that we are hearing now is one of the biggest mergers in the Indian markets, HDFC as well as HDFC Bank. And we have details in terms of, when the dates are, with regards to the dates as well. What they've said now is that the board meetings of both the entities will be post working hours on the 30th of June, and July 1st will be the effective date of the merger. In fact, HDFC shares will stop trading on the bourses on the 13th of July. That means they will delist on the 13th of July, and the merged entity shares will start trading by the 17th of July. So, an interesting move coming in there. We will get you detailed coverage on BQ Prime throughout the next couple of days as well, starting right here. Joining us on the show to discuss more on this and the technical angle with regards to the HDFC twins is Aditya Agarwal, Head of Research and Investment at Invest for Edu. Aditya, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Hero. Thanks for the show. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you. Aditya, overall, the HDFC twin merger was something which was already in the making. If you see from the announcement, since the time the announcement was made, and the action that we've seen in both these counters in the last couple of months, is the price telling you that this was already priced in, or are you seeing some different action that's happening from a technical and derivative perspective?
So let's begin with the time when actually the merger were announced, Hero. It was almost a year back when this announcement was made that HDFC Limited is going to merge with HDFC Bank. And post that announcement, we had seen a lot of euphoria in both the stocks. In fact, both the stocks had hit their all-time high following up that news. But then eventually, the after the euphoria, the stock prices start to cool down a bit as people started contemplating if the merger is actually going to benefit the merged entity, and if the business is going to see an expansion, what is the kind of growth that will come through once both the entities are merged. And because of all these overhang and the weightage on the Nifty as well, so because of all this overhang, stock eventually underperformed and didn't see that kind of euphoria that we're seeing post the announcement. Now that finally the company has gone through a go ahead for the merger, and we know that post 13th of July, HDFC Limited will not be traded on the exchanges. It will be HDFC Bank, the merged entity, which will be traded. We are seeing a kind of build up again in the stocks, especially on the HDFC Bank. If you take a look at, there's a good long build up as far as the futures suggest, with a good price rise. So definitely. There is some kind of a euphoria and an excitement as far as the trading pattern goes. And my sense is HDFC Bank is going to see a good build up in the long side. And I won't be surprised if it eventually breaks out of that resistance mark, Hero, which has been acting as some kind of a hurdle now, which is around 1700 to about 1720 on the upside. Once that is taken out, I see a clean move in HDFC Bank towards 2000 to about 2100. Yes, I am looking at a target of 2100 on HDFC Bank. It makes sense to focus on HDFC Bank because eventually that is the one which is going to trade on the exchanges and not HDFC. If somebody is looking at lapping on HDFC, they can do as well. Because post merger, you will eventually get an HDFC Bank shares. So just to backtrack, yes, post that announcement, there was a euphoria, then the euphoria died down, and final confirmation news that we got today, we are seeing a good long build up in HDFC Bank, FNO side, and cash side also. We're seeing good build up in the long positions on HDFC Bank.
Right. And what is the data currently just indicating in terms of HDFC?
So there is, if we go look at the merger ratio for 25 shares of HDFC Bank Limited, shareholders will get 42 shares of HDFC Bank. So there is no arbitrage there, Hiral, if we talk about. So if it doesn't make sense if you latch on to HDFC Limited because it's trading at cheaper valuation as compared to HDFC Bank. Looking at the merger ratio, no, there's no such arbitration available in any of the stocks. They are moving in tandem. So even if you buy an HDFC Limited, it will not make too much of a difference to your portfolio in terms of shares, additional shares that you're going to get in HDFC Bank. So if you're looking to buy fresh, I would strongly urge to buy HDFC Bank instead of an HDFC Limited. Yes, existing shareholders of HDFC Limited don't need to panic as you're going to get an merged entity HDFC Bank shares.
Right. So from the charts, someone who's already holding a HDFC, would you recommend exiting a HDFC and entering a HDFC bank? Is that something which would be a better option?
No, not really, Hiral, because both the charts are mirroring.
Hmm.
Post the merger announcement, if you take a look at the kind of move that both the stocks have shown, they mirror each other's movement. And as I mentioned, there is no arbitrage opportunity as well,
Hmm.
which is available either in HDFC Bank or HDFC Limited. As per the merger ratio, the share prices are evenly placed and poised. If you look at exiting HDFC Limited and buying HDFC Bank, will only increase your charges that you're giving, transaction charges. So why
Hmm.
do that? Instead, anyways, you're going to get an HDFC Bank share in lieu of your HDFC Limited shares.
Right. And the target price that we were talking about in terms of 2,100 on HDFC Bank, what's the kind of time frame that you're looking at?
So clearly, Hiral, I believe this will take some time because there will be more of analysis which will be done on the stock and the kind of business that the company can generate. Give it at least 6 months to about a year's time, and I'm sure you will see stock price rising to about the 2100 levels. I would play it out over a period of year because in between there could be bouts of volatility in the overall market as well. We are seeing markets also become a little choppy at the moment, so that could weigh on the stock price as well. So give it about a year's time, and I'm sure stock will trade somewhere around 2100.
Right. But one more question that I have, I know that's more little on the fundamental side yet, though, that once the merged entity starts trading on the 17th, there will be some bit of an adjustment that will happen to the share price as well. What are charts indicating from an upside if you have to look at the future value going up to, say, the next 2 to 3 weeks?
So I believe it should definitely head to the upper end of the range here, which is somewhere around 1700, about 1720 I mentioned earlier.
Hmm.
Yes, it will face some kind of a resistance there. Once it takes out that, then you could see, talking of purely from the base of chart setup, you could see a big up move in the stock. But yes, I believe if you're talking about 17th of July, till then I don't see too much, maybe a breakout coming through in the stock. It could trade closer to about 1750 on the upside.
Right. So that's with regards to where the HDFC twins go. But moving on, let's see what's happening with the markets as well right now because both the counters have seen a good move, an up move come in the last couple of minutes, and because of which you've seen Nifty as well gone above the 18,800 levels, almost near the day's highest level. So there is some bit of momentum, and plus again, you have the BSE and the NSE who've announced that tomorrow is not a market holiday, which has been moved to Thursday. So that's one of the other reasons as well. We are seeing some bit of an action that's coming in the markets. What's the levels that you're tracking now from this expiry perspective? Because clearly it was lackluster during the day, but some momentum that's come in the last hour of trade.
Absolutely, Hiral. In fact, I believe markets were waiting for this kind of a trigger, if I could call it, to see that kind of move that we're seeing in the markets.
Hmm.
Markets have been on the lackluster mode, and there are two key events which played out, maybe which has helped markets test levels of 18,000 and beyond. One, as you mentioned, the merger of the HDFC Bank, and second, a very important notice which came through, which is changed the holiday from Wednesday to Thursday, because that changes the expiry day. This is the monthly expiry, not the weekly expiry. So it's a big expiry. Good volumes take place on monthly expiry days. And now, because of this move, the expiry happens tomorrow instead of a Thursday. So there's a lot of adjustment which the traders and especially the writers will have to do. Because then you don't have that kind of time decay. Earlier, if the expiry was taking place on a Thursday, you had a trading holiday tomorrow, which could eat up the time value of the options. So this played a big role in also setting up the trend for the market in trade today. Yes, absolutely fueled by HDFC Bank. Now, looking at the setup of the markets, I do believe markets could head to levels of 18,900 and 19,000 as well. 18,900 has been acting as a crucial hurdle for some time. In fact, we were almost touching distance from making a new all-time high, and we missed by a point, just 1 point on the Nifty. So I believe this time around, we will see a new all-time high on the Nifty. In the next expiry, high likelihood that we will test levels of 19,000 odd levels. But I'm not too gung-ho here. Because I also look at the VIX, which is trading at extremely lower end of the band. And mind you, whenever VIX is trading at such low levels, you see usually volatility picking up in the markets. And as we know, when volatility picks up, you usually see bouts of corrections also in the market. So trade market participants should definitely be a little cautious, though I believe markets will head to new all-time high, but it could be very short-lived.
Right. So that's with regards to where Nifty goes. Coming on in terms of Bank Nifty as well, last couple of trading sessions, it's constantly trading between its 20-day, moving average EMA versus the 50-day EMA. And it's not being able to break out of that range on either sides. How are you looking at it, and what is your target in terms of Bank Nifty?
So again, Hiril, the major contributor to Nifty touching 19,000 odd levels. If you're looking at Nifty touching 19,000 odd levels, two major indices which have to perform is Bank Nifty and Nifty, because we know both of them have heavy weight on Nifty. So Bank Nifty, talking about, it started consolidating even before Nifty started consolidating, or maybe going witness a bit of a correction. So it has done its bit of consolidation and correction that it needed to. Now with this news coming through of HDFC merger, bank merger, I see Bank Nifty steadily heading to levels of 44,500, about 44,600 on the upside, with a good support at 44,000, which was initially acting as a hurdle. I think now it is comfortably trading above 44,000 as we speak. So my sense is Bank Nifty should eventually head to levels of 44,500, 44,600 in the coming sessions, which will fuel the Nifty to levels of 19,000 that we're talking about. So yes, I believe both Nifty, Bank Nifty, and some pockets of IT will also start to outperform from current levels.
Right. So that's with regards to where Bank Nifty goes. Coming in terms of individual counters, two counters we've already spoken about from the banking space. But apart from that, Reliance Industries is seeing some good amount of call writing. The delivery markup is also pretty strong, and the cash volume uptick also looks pretty strong. Do you think that could be one of the participants that could help us, help Nifty inch higher?
Would like to believe so, Hiril, but unfortunately, Reliance is not doing anything for itself. And if I also take a look at the charts, maybe slightly higher term time frame charts, they don't suggest any kind of a gungo up move in the stock. In fact, I still think Reliance is locked in a very narrow trading band, and it will continue to do so. I don't see too much of an upside in the stock. At max, maybe 2-3% upside from current levels is possible, but I don't see too much of an upside. So stay away from Reliance. Is not showing any signs of up move yet. I don't see a big correction coming through as well, but yeah, I don't see a big up move.
It's not a major up move coming in terms of Reliance Industries. Uh, IPCA is also seeing some longs, in terms of the F&O side of it. What's your view on IPCA Laboratories?
Hiril, if we talk about select pharma plays, there have been some pockets of pharma which has been outperforming. IPCA is also one of them, has seen good build up from the lower end of the range after a decent correction. I think it has some more room on the upside, because overall the pharma pack looks interesting, and I believe there are a few pharma stocks which will continue to outperform. So maybe a 760 from current levels is doable on IPCA Lab. Put a stop loss closer to about 725 to about 728 on the downside. Good risk to reward. You can play IPCA Lab. The futures build up in also suggests that there is a bit of an upside in IPCA. And apart from IPCA, if you want to look at any other pharma stock, maybe an Alembic Pharma, that too looks quite attractive at current levels and can see a decent 5 to 6% upside from current levels.
Right. Apart from this, Aditya, any other names that come to your radar which should be good investment opportunities, taking tomorrow's day into consideration now that, expiry will be tomorrow?
There are pockets here, to be honest. Like I mentioned, IT is something I believe should chip in and do good going ahead. And I'm focusing on some of the large cap IT names to start with. HCL Tech looks attractive at current levels. One can definitely look at going long on HCL Tech. Can see upside to levels of 1780, 1790 on the upside. Second stock which is coming up very interesting is Tata Consumer, Tata Chemical. These two stocks do look very attractive on charts. We have seen a bit of a profit booking in Tata Consumer in trade today, but I believe these are good times to look at the stock, and same holds true for Tata Chemical as well. I believe both the stocks provide good opportunity, good risk to reward from current levels. You can easily see 5 to 6% upside. And the final stock that is on my radar, and I'm closely watching it, is VGuard. A very interesting setup here. I'm looking at a target of 310 here with a stop loss close to about 270. Chart setup is very attractive. It has been making higher high, higher lows, and the recent profit booking following that today's move is backed by extremely good volume. So yes, looks very attractive on charts, and I would like to believe that stock will easily test levels of 310 in the near term.
Right. So these are few of the counters we should be watching out for as well. Thank you, Aditya, so much for joining us on the show and sharing those views and interesting moves that can be expected specifically with regards to the HDFC twins as well. Thank you. Stay safe and speak to you soon again. So that's what the markets are looking like. In fact, the HDFC twins have actually come to the rescue in today's session. Above 18,800 is what we've seen. And again, the shift in terms of the market holiday from tomorrow to Thursday is something which has seen, that is one of the reasons as well we've seen this kind of an action. Clearly, if you see, Bank Nifty has got a good booster as well above those 44,100 levels. In fact, that's exactly what we were talking, that, Bank Nifty has not been able to close above those 44,000 levels in quite a few days, and today we've already seen that happen. The advance decline ratio pretty much in favor of the advances, and SBI, Axis, HDFC, ICICI, all the heavyweights coming in to the rescue. So clearly a lot of stock specific action, but clearly the markets have given us a surprise in the last hour of trade and a good up move that has come in. That's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching, and lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay tuned.